I started from zero, nothing, below zero. You should take what you enjoy and take it to the fucking stars. Focus on what you're good at and what you can do and take it as far as you think you can take it. Right. Rocky's here, baby! Why are you spending so much money?
You gave it to me.
I'm gonna put this place on the market, baby, real soon. When I don't owe the bank a bunch of money, that's a good position to be in because they can't wait to loan me some money. Dealing with all this stress, paying double interest rates, the stock market's down, the writing's on the wall, every saying you can imagine, in my opinion, is there. The market doesn't make sense. It's gotta get disrupted. You gotta do whatever it takes to put yourself in a position to make a move. We gotta get this thing done, okay? Put it on the table, get a plan, and do it. At least try. You're not gonna succeed unless you try, right? So you got no choice but to try, and hopefully you'll succeed like I did. Now's the time to get ready. Now's the time to bring your boots out so you can walk in this.
So we went to your website and we see that you're selling $350 million worth of real estate. What's going on?
Yes, I'm trying to reorganize the portfolio. That's what you do in life sometimes. And sometimes you say, you know what? This portfolio is gone and it's stable and it's taken me pretty much as far as it's going to take me. I believe that the market is turning or will be turning soon. It has to eventually. And there's going to be some serious opportunities out there. All right? So sitting on all these assets that ain't making me a bunch of money, just a decent return, doesn't pay to keep. All right? Let's cash them in, take some profits off the table, pay down a lot of debt, because you know what? Man, when I don't owe the bank a bunch of money, that's a good position to be in.
Why not
because
just
they
sit
can't
back?
wait to loan me some money. And the values are coming. I just hit the fan. The writing's on the wall. Every saying you can imagine, in my opinion, is there. Okay, I'm seeing loans coming right now due in the probably hundreds of billions, maybe. Definitely in the billions. And everybody's trying to sell their property right now. You know why? Because commercial's not residential. Commercial loans don't go out 30 years. All right? 3, 5, 7, typically. Maybe you go a little further with 10 if you got some AAA Home Depot like I do or Lowe's that has a long lease on it and they ain't got to worry about. Typically, commercial loans are short time. So that teaser, wonderful, great interest rate we used to have when somebody else was president is no longer there. All right? You're going to have to take today's rates. And the properties can't handle today's rates.
Isn't there a chance, because I thought the same thing, that you're wrong and that they could lower rates just as quickly as they increase them, and then everyone in commercial real estate could get lucky and kind of get bailed out because interest rates go from 7% back down to 4%, let's just say?
I don't think we're going to see the stupidity anymore of people pushing a button so much. All right? Never did I see the rates in my whole lifetime go up so quick, so much. It's not smart to do that. You're supposed to just, do things in a way where people don't feel pain. All right? Do things in a moderate, conservative way. But they didn't do that because they're not business people. That's the problem with this country. You don't have no business people running it. And if you never ran a business, how the hell you run a country? Because basically a country is just a business with a conscience.
But couldn't you then say if Trump gets elected, he's going to lower interest rates, or at least pressure the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates?
I'm sure it will go that way, whether he does it or not. I mean, I'm sure that the Republicans are always going to want to keep rates low because cheap rates mean growth. People borrow money cheap, they do more shit, they buy more shit, you make more shit. And, people spend more, people are working, and it just seemed like a much better world to me when interest rates are lower. I can go out there and, and borrow. Right now I'm paying more than twice the interest rate I used to pay, maybe 3 times in some specific properties, okay, versus what I could have locked it in at.
Yeah.
So I'm cutting back. Why? Because I'm spending $5 million a year more in interest payments. How'd you like to shell out a $400,000 a month or $500,000 a month extra every month that you normally wouldn't have to, that you'd be stashing away in the bank and putting in tax-free muni bonds at 5% tax-free? That's, Anyway, the point is that, it is what it is, and it's a cycle. Things go up, things go down, people do stupid things, then they correct themselves. There's going to be a major correction in the market. There's tons of loans being sold on the market right now. You can buy loans, but they haven't really discounted them that much. Everything's moving slow. But the shit's going to hit the fan. Okay, let me tell you, I talk to bankers all the time. We were playing the game pretend and extend. You heard that term before?
Yeah, I have.
That's what they've been playing. Now that period is over. Now they have moved to pray and delay.
That's it. I knew it started with pray.
So now we're in that phase. What happens after you pray and delay? The shit hits the fan. Because the banks don't want to know. They don't want you to know that the banks only work with the loans they have, correct? You're a finance guy.
Yeah.
The banks only are worth on the amount of loans they have. That's what determines the value of a bank. And if the bank has shitty loans and the value ain't worth shit to the bank, the stock goes down the toilet. You know, I lost $1 million on that Silicon Valley thing I told you, the preferred stock. Why? Because I bought it. My broker bought it 3 or 4 years ago. It was fine, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, everybody found out they couldn't keep it quiet anymore. That the loans are bad that they got, and they're not worth the property, the collateral, and now the loan ain't worth shit. And the stock went down the toilet, and the bank went out of business. I got out $1 million. That's what happens. That's the way it works. So if the banks don't hurry up, and right now, let me tell you something. I don't have to worry. There are like. The banks are pretending that you don't have covenants. Believe that? And I've never seen it happen on Wall Street. I'm seeing it on CMBS loans. I'm seeing it on Wall Street money. They're pretending that everything's okay. But it's not. Because if the property has to go to today's interest rate and be reappraised, it can't cash flow at the same debt ratio. It's not going to meet the proper, what's the word?
What, cash flow, debt obligation, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, it's not going to praise out anymore today's interest rate.
Yeah, but couldn't the Federal Reserve do what they did with Silicon Valley Bank? And basically to say, hey, we're going to loan you money. You could pay out your people. Investors get screwed out of it, but none of the customers are affected. Couldn't they do the same thing with the bank and say, hey, for all these loans that come due,
doesn't matter. Nobody wants to go there.
Just extend
Somebody
it.
gets f***ed. And the
it's
people that
probably
get
gonna be-
f***ed are the people with the stock.
Or it could be the taxpayers.
And now you're talking the stock market. You know what's going to do to the stock market if banks start closing up?
I don't know if they will. I think the Federal Reserve will want to.
How old were you in
maintain it.
2008?
18.
18?
Yeah.
You remember it, right?
I
You
do.
were a smart young guy.
Yeah.
A lot of banks went belly up. A lot of mergers came about of it. And it
yeah.
became a mess, but it caused opportunity. It's got to happen. It has to happen. Because that's the only way we get opportunity. All right?
See, I look at what happened in 2020, though,
I get
where
hurt,
they just
but I
threw
also
money at
get
the
paid.
problem.
What?
I look at 2020 where they just threw money at the problem. They just
You can't
they
keep throwing
bought
money
the,
at the
they
problem.
in a way bought
They didn't do
themselves
it
out
that
of the
much.
mess.
They only did it a couple of banks because it just started. And then you know what the f- they did? They backed the f- away from the whole situation. They didn't want to keep doing it. You know why? They keep doing it, then it'll become a bigger mess. If they start looking at every bank right now and trying to make that bank look like they should, it'll be a giant disaster. I'm telling you, the banks, it's not that the loans are bad. They're bad
Yeah.
when they have to be paid back. When the money has to be paid back. So what they're doing now is they're just saying, don't pay us back. That's their solution to it right now. They don't care about the loan docs. They don't care about the agreement you have. They're just saying, oh, shit, he's paying us. Let's keep paying and extend it. Okay, but if they have to go to today's rates and get reappraised, it's just going to hit the fan.
So
I'm
are
already
they
seeing it.
so,
went to,
so they're
we're seeing
basically
it.
betting that interest rates are going to come down by
will
the
come down
time they
somewhat.
get, you know.
They'll come down about the 5s and stable out. But we got to go through the whole president shit, and we have to go through a bunch of bullshit. And they're going to keep praying and delaying right now until the year is over. In 25, we should see some shit straighten out with the financial situation. Because sooner or later, people are going to say, I want my money back. You know, can't get your money back right now.
Yeah. So for the properties that you're listed on your website, they seem like they're priced a bit on the high end. Like I'm
They're
looking
priced retail, as if things were great, peachy keen, and everything was a perfect world. That's where you price assets like that at. Why? Because you got to understand, my world is a little different than the regular market. I'm strictly a 1031. There's a circle of people in this country that have utilized 1031s, and they don't want to pay back all the tax they deferred. Okay, they don't want to pay it. So they find themselves in a situation like I did. I sold 100 million or 90-some million of Starwood Capital. All right, I found myself in a situation. It could have been $20, $30 million tax bill on that because my basis is so low because I've been 1031 for so long. You know, if I go out and buy a $10 million building tomorrow, I don't get the basis of a $10 million. I probably get a basis of a $2 million. Okay, because all that tax that I deferred, they don't forget about that shit. The government remembers that shit, and your basis goes down. And then if you die, then you get a break. The only way, is to die. Anyway, the retail is safe havens. I went to the Home Depots, I went to the Lowe's, I went to the Walgreens, I went to all the safe haven properties that I knew they're going to get you a decent return. I bought some in the 6 caps, some in the 7 caps. Maybe some of them I value added, and I rented up some space, and there's more value in them. And they're maxed out. It's the best you're going to do with them. I got shopping centers, bring in a few million a month, gross. And then there's not a lot of expenses because, you cammed out. You cam back all the expenses. So retail could be a very safe haven if you're in a 1031 and the clock's ticking and you got to hurry up and buy something and you don't want to pay the government. Some guys go out and buy planes. I go out and buy triple nets. Like you heard, I don't want to, your friend Grant Cardone or Kevin and all these guys, they go out, they buy these big fancy planes right before the year is up because they don't want to pay. They get a tax write-off for it. That's fine. That's their thing. They need the planes. Me, I go out and buy a triple net and defer my gains from real estate into that.
So what does your portfolio look like today?
Today?
Yeah. How has it changed?
It's a combination of everything. We got hotels. We're running half a dozen hotels. Some are in contract. One's in contract or sold. Maybe 2. I don't know. I'm always trying to sell stuff after I've reached its max potential. And it's a good investment for somebody else. But I don't want to sit around running a hotel for the rest of my life. I'd rather just sell it, take the profits, maybe go find something and add value to that. I'm trying to tone down the operation part too. The money's in the flip.
Yeah.
It used to be, when rates were low, the money was in buying something, fixing it, refinancing it, get your money back, and then sit on cash flow. But because rates are so high right now, that game doesn't really play as well.
Yeah. How's it changed over the last year?
Interest rates control everything. Cash flow's down because interest rates are up. Everything's up. Insurance is up. Labor is up. Materials are back up now. It seems like, I don't know. It's very expensive to run property. You got to be very careful and do your homework now and make sure you will allocate proper amounts for the expenses.
If the rates stayed high and the loans came due and there was a bit of a correction or even like a crash, how would that affect you?
Listen, they're going to try to start selling off these loans. And they can't sell a loan that doesn't exist anymore. That's going to be the problem. Once the time is up on the loan, they can't sell it. They got nothing to sell. Either the guy's got to pay him back, they're going to just extend the old loan, but then they don't get rid of it, or they're going to have to sell that property. See, the problem is a lot of people in commercial real estate is not one single guy like me. A lot of them are partnerships. A lot of them are a combination of a lot of people. And the only way to cure this problem right now is to buy down your debt. But nobody likes to make capital investments or whatever they call it, infusion of capital into a property to buy down debt. Because normally, it's a combination of a lot of people. That means everybody's got to throw money into a deal. They don't want to do that. Some of them just walk. I've seen it happen a million times. Me, I'll buy down the debt before the bank tells me, but the bank's never going to tell me they never loan me money because I got money, And when you have money and you have investments, you got lines of credit. So they'll loan me all the money I want, It's just, where does it get to the point where you say, what's the point of holding this property if you're not cash flowing?
All right, but you know what? Before we go into that, we got to do some quick math because the less money your business spends, the more money you get to keep, which is really important right now because with the rising cost of materials, labor, distribution, and borrowing, everything is costing more. So to reduce these costs and headaches, smart businesses are graduating to our sponsor, Netsuite by Oracle.
NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system bringing accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR into one platform and one source of truth. With NetSuite, you reduce IT costs because it lives in the cloud with no hardware required, and you can access it from anywhere. You basically cut the cost of maintaining multiple systems because with NetSuite, you have one unified business management suite.
Essentially, you can improve efficiency by bringing all of your major business processes into one platform, thereby slashing manual tasks and errors. Not to mention, over 37,000 companies have already made the move, so do the math and see how much you'll profit with NetSuite.
And by popular demand, NetSuite has decided to extend its one-of-a-kind flexible financing program for just a few more weeks at netsuite.com/iced. Seriously, guys, there's a limited amount of time to take advantage of this deal at netsuite.com/iced, netsuite.com/ICED. Thank you so much, NetSuite, and back to the episode. as we can probably agree, being an adult has its high points. It's like you can eat ice cream for dinner or play video games whenever you want, or even eat ice cream while you play video games. But it is not all fun. You have to do your taxes, figure out what's for dinner every night, and make doctor's appointments. But fortunately for that one, there is our sponsor Zocdoc, the healthcare app that makes adulting that much easier.
For those unaware, Zocdoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality, in-network doctors, choose the right fit for your needs, and click to instantly book an appointment.
We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skincare, and so much more.
You could also filter for doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, are a good fit for any medical needs you might have, and are highly rated by verified patients.
You can also see their actual appointment openings, choose a time and date that works for you, and instantly book a visit. Plus, Zocdoc appointments happen fast, typically within 24 to 72 hours of booking, and you can even score same-day appointments.
After hearing how many times Jack seems to get hurt, I would highly recommend checking out Zocdoc with the link down below in the description. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to Zocdoc.com/iced to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/iced, Zocdoc.com/iced with the link down below in the description. Thank you, Zocdoc, for sponsoring today's episode. And now let's get back to the podcast. Why not just pay down the debt? Have, $100 million worth of really great
Because if
real
I pay
estate.
down the debt, then I have more income, correct? Correct?
What do you mean you'll
If
have
I
more?
pay down my debt,
Yes.
I will have more cash flow and more income, right?
Correct.
Luckily, even though I live in Florida, I'm going to pay 37%, and I don't have much to depreciate because I 1031 to these properties, and you also lose depreciation is based on basis, not on what you paid. So if I buy something for $10 million, I only get to divide it by, what's that number?
27,
37,
37, yeah.
27 for residential.
Residential, 30
commercial is like
something.
37 and a half.
Yeah.
I can't get that full depreciation anymore. So I'll be paying, if I don't pay the bank, let's say I save $1 million a year, right? Not paying the bank, so I got in my pocket another $1 million a year. I don't have that write-off anymore, okay, because I'm not paying the interest. So I'm going to have to pay 37% to the government.
But your life would be simple.
I'd rather keep the money I got, put it in tax-free muni bonds at 5+% in some cases if you go into a fund.
Sure.
Okay, and that's simple life. That's the end game that I'm trying to really prepare right now. I'm trying to sell off assets that we don't need, let my kids keep growing, okay, and just let me just fucking retire with enough muni bonds that give me tax-free income. And then when I die, she'll have the tax-free income for the muni bonds. She ain't got to worry about not having any tax problems whatsoever, ever.
Why not just do tax-free muni bonds? Like, if that's making 5%.
I mean, if I sell my
No
portfolio
tax.
right now, I'll probably have to pay the IRS $50 million.
I know, but the tax-free muni bonds at 5-something%, you don't have to worry about depreciation. You don't have to worry about tenants. A single thing.
About,
No?
I have a lot of tax-free muni bonds, and I'm trying to grow them, so that'll be my retirement. But I still got to clean up the mess I made in real estate. I got 25 different projects, all around. Some we're still working on. Some we're stabilizing. Some are stabilized. Some are waiting to be stabilized. Some are in construction. Some are whatever. Some are just being operating on an office full of people keeping track of all the rents and all the escalations in the rents and whatever needs there are to the properties. You got a major management company. We just bought another hotel. We just put we put a new flag on it when we bought it, and we got to rehab that place. There's always a lot of going on. Luckily, my kids handle most of it, my managers. And I just, worry about buying, selling, and keep an eye on everything that's going on,
It doesn't even seem like
That's my life. Everybody's got a life. My life is managing 25 different assets and trying to prepare for retirement and figure out a trust.
it seems like you're pretty happy though with the problems. We were talking before this, and you're kind of like lamenting a lot of the problems that you have to deal with on a daily basis. We were just on your boat, and you were talking about like the different scratches on the glass that you have, and this needs to go get painted, and this Silver Surfer
That's
guy needs to
life. That's my life,
Right, but of
fixing
course,
shit.
you don't need to necessarily be doing that now. But
Who
I
else
think that
is
you
gonna
also
do it?
enjoy it because you're also buying hotels. You say
No,
you
I don't
wanna
like people in
escape.
charge of my money because if they're not, if I don't know that person, knows I'm the one trying to fix the boat up and sell it, not them. They're just there to accomplish doing what I want done. Somebody has to orchestrate everything: real estate, a YouTube channel, fixing up a boat. Somebody's got to orchestrate this shit when there's money involved. And I'm the orchestrator. Beethoven. You heard of Beethoven? Beethoven. There you go.
But it seems like you enjoy these problems, though. Like, it gives you something to work on, and you enjoy
No, I like having
saving
no
the
problems.
money.
I'd love to wake up one fucking day and say, you know what? I ain't got shit to worry about.
You could do that, though.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait. And I'm getting fucking old, and I want that day to come soon. So I'm trying to fix all this shit and get it to where I can just stop worrying about shit.
How much money would you need to not have to worry about anything? Is it a dollar amount or is it income?
To be comfortable and not worry about shit, $500,000 a month.
So 6 million.
You know, if I keep
a year.
that big house in the sand and property taxes are killing me there. Oh my God.
How much
they're
are property
killing me.
taxes?
$250,000.
$250,000? What percentage is that?
2%.
Oh yeah, Florida 2%.
No state tax. So you pay in the ass in property taxes.
Vegas is 0.8, and no state tax.
And you have no
But
state tax.
Right.
I'm moving to fucking Vegas. Problem with
Move to
Vegas is you got
Vegas.
no water. How the fuck can you live somewhere
Lake
with no
Las
water?
Vegas. It's on the water.
We have an
Like Las
aqueduct,
Vegas.
I think.
It's not like this.
No,
I
it's
can't
not
get
like
in my
this.
boat and go in 2 hours be in the Bahamas.
No.
I can't do that in Vegas. I can only do that in a RV.
Right. Because I feel like with a $100 million, be able to buy
100
a
million.
great
100
shopping
million
center.
will get you $5 million a year,
Right.
tax free.
Right.
That's what you need. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I can retire tomorrow, but I got to clean up the mess I got.
Yeah.
I got a mess I got to clean
So,
up.
but if you
a good
believe,
mess.
yeah, but if you believe the market's going to be going down for commercial real
I
estate,
believe there's going to be major opportunities coming. My kids are just bidding on an auction
don't you
online.
worry, though,
They're
that if
bidding an
you're-
auction on 217 apartments that went foreclosure.
don't you worry though with your current holding that if you wait too long, the market could correct before you're able to sell?
You're absolutely right, and that's why I'm trying to sell them. And if I get an offer, of course, I'm going to work a deal. You know, nothing's etched in stone. I got to look at what I'm selling for. If I can't 1031, what's my tax bill going to be? And then come up with that price and see, can I swallow it or not? How much will I get after I pay the loan off? How much will I walk away with? How much is that going to get me if I put in tax-free muni bonds? This is what I have to think about before accepting an offer on a property.
And then what about the residential real estate? Like you just mentioned, apartment buildings. Are those getting hit the same way? Because I feel like rents for apartments are still pretty
Apartments
high.
are holding strong because
Yeah.
nobody's buying houses. So that's keeping rent strong. Why nobody buying houses? We don't know, because of the interest rate. You know, the same guy was buying a $500,000 house can only afford and qualify for a $250,000 now because the interest rates are double.
Right.
And there's no $250,000 houses.
So what do you think is going to be happening to the residential real estate market?
Residential, everybody who locked into long-term rates is not going to move because when they go see, oh, I could sell my house and make $500,000, yeah, but now you're going to go pay another $500,000 and then pay more interest, and it doesn't pay. I'll just stay where I'm at. A lot of people are not going to sell, all right?
All right.
I'm starting to see a lot of houses coming on the market because people may have to sell. Not everybody took the 30-year fixed rate. Not everybody was that smart.
Yeah.
You know, some people took it for maybe only a short period of time or some I don't know, a teaser rate. I don't know, but residential is going to be residential. It's not going to have a major upside because of all the people locked in for a long time. Commercial is going to hit the fan. Okay, retail's suffering anyway.
So when do you think this is going to happen? Because I've been thinking the commercial
We're
real
not
estate
going to
market
see
is
nothing
going to
happen until the end of the year. Listen, people sit around these big shots and they say, okay, let's readdress this issue after we change election in a new year. All right, let's just extend and keep things quiet, and then we'll deal with this at the new year. Let's get out of this fucking year already. We got the president bullshit going on. We got all these problems going on. You got wars going on. Let's see what happens in 25.
So I tend to think that if you're correct on that timeline, and let's say it's March 2025, it should take about a year to really start to feel the pain, which would put us 2026.
Now's the time to get ready. Now's the time to bring your boots out so you can walk in the shit. Identify the deals that are going bad. Find out who the people, the first ones to get slaughtered are going to be. Those types of properties, those opportunities. Start looking, and a lot of more auctions. Listen, when the interest rates were low, 10X didn't have shit. Now look at 10X. We were bidding on a 10X deal the other day for like, I don't know, we didn't want to pay the $8 million it sold for. You know? The 10X list is getting bigger. The LoopNet's getting bigger. The Crexy's getting bigger. People are trying to dump shit, and I'm one of them.
Yeah, but if you're lowballing now, don't you think that you could just wait
Better
and
to
get
be
a better
early
deal?
than late. And you never hurt you by being early. All right? It's educating yourself. It's getting in there and getting going. Because sooner or later, something's going to pop and you're going to make a deal. I mean, you have to, look at a bunch of deals. You know, there was an auction the other day in my neighborhood on the beach. It went for $2.5 million. I was thinking I'd pay $1.5 million. Somebody's still stepping up, spending that money. You know, sooner or later those people will run away. The ones that overspend
See,
on
I
everything.
thought that for the last year in Vegas, but consistently.
Well, why would you buy something at a 5 cap
Well, that's what I'm
when
saying.
you go to tax-free muni bonds? If you're not forced to, it's 1031.
So I want to find something that's about 8.5%.
They're there. I see
in
them all day
Vegas.
long now.
In
But you gotta have
Vegas,
some of
I
them-
haven't seen
Vegas,
any
I
in
don't know.
Vegas. I've
You
seen
gotta
nothing
really
in Vegas.
dig into Vegas.
The best
then.
deals I found in Vegas are about 6.5% return, but people are still paying for it. But
I'm
they're
seeing
slowly
Starbucks going
coming
in
down.
6.5s now.
Where?
Maybe not in Vegas.
Yeah.
But who gives a? Starbucks wouldn't have put it there unless they knew they were going to make money. They already did all that money and looking into the doing their homework.
You know what? People are
And if you
concerned
got
about.
a long lease, do you think Starbucks will go out of business? You think they're going to violate a lease?
I think they might start to close down some stores because it seems like Starbucks are really
thinking it's-
suffering lately.
Yeah, but
Th-
now if you
there's
get a
too
brand new
many.
one,
There's too many
if
Starbucks.
you get a brand new one with a 10-year lease, you worried about it?
I'd say there's a small amount of risk.
No risk. If you get a brand new Starbucks right now with a 10-year lease that are personally guaranteed corporate, you ain't got shit to worry about.
Where would you say the opportunity is for the average person out there that may not have the
It's
access
always
to
the same story.
same things?
Find the deal.
Yeah. Lowball is the
Find distress, lowball shit, get it down to the right price. It's all about the numbers. The numbers got to work, all right? And they got to satisfy your desire for an investment. And you got to limit your risk. Like he's very you're low risk tolerant, which is fine. It's good to play it
Probably
safe.
to a fault, though.
Huh?
That's probably to a fault. I think I missed
Listen,
some good
everybody's got their own
opportunities.
risk
'cause,
tolerance.
yeah.
All right, I have risk tolerance. I can't tolerate a lot of I got a line you don't cross, and if you feel comfortable with that line, it's fine. But sometimes you got to do is when you really feel like you're stable, and you push it a little, and you say, okay, if it does me over or things don't go to my way, it's not going to kill me. It's worth taking a risk versus the reward. You got to determine, but you got to be comfortable.
And what if someone doesn't have the money, but they see the opportunities coming up a year from now and they want to get
You got to
involved?
do whatever it takes to put yourself in a position to make a move. Whether it is get qualified for FHA, 1 to 4 units, or if you're a veteran, use the VA loan, or save up to 10% down the bank wants you to put down, or if you're going commercial, 20% down. But it's all about finding the deal. You got to have good credit. You got to have some sort of money. You can't be broke. A lot of people out there find the deals that have no money. They find somebody else's money. They find a deal. They find the money. They're in the deal. There you go. It's all about putting forth effort into something that's going to help you and get you forward in life, whatever it is.
What are some of your best negotiation strategies? How do you know when you're too aggressive?
I'm going to tell you right now, if you go look at real estate, and there are issues that exist, which hopefully there are, because that's where the money's at. The money's in the issues, because you buy it, you cure the issues, and there's a reward for that. Value add. You add value. So always get your issues with the property documented, pictures. Have like a presentation almost put together saying whether it's a house, whether it's a fourplex, whether it's 300 units. This is what this place needs right now, and estimate the value. And of course, add on for 20% for good purpose. But have a plan to come in and show the seller that, hey, it's a great place. I love this place, but you want too much. Why? Because I got to put all this money into it. That's a good tactic that we use. My son will put together a report with issue, picture, and then we'll put a dollar amount on it. You got to lowball the shit on LoopNet that you like, but the cap rate's too low. You got to make offers. Do you have a license or no? You have a license?
No,
on
not
it?
anymore.
I mean, you don't even need a license. You just write a fucking LOI to the
Right.
existing broker, and you just write up an LOI from yourself if you want. And if they don't like it, fine. Or they scratch it out and change the number.
Yeah.
If they're asking for a fucking 7 cap, and you offer them an 8.5 cap if you like the property.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
How much more
You gotta put the
difficult
time in.
is it today to find a deal versus like 4 years ago?
There are deals out there. It's hard. I mean, it's hard, but it's. I mean, they're starting to come. I'm starting to see it trickle down. I'm starting to see a lot more deals popping, auction sites. I think you're going to start seeing some foreclosures coming. But right now they're still working out the debt part of it. They're going to sell off as much debt as they can and then be left with the dogs that they say, well, we can't sell the debt. We got to sell the real estate. That's what's going to happen. But it's not going to happen until next year.
Yeah. What do you think is a good cap rate to buy at?
I mean, if you're looking to sit back and get a good return, it all depends on the tenant. If it's a good tenant, long term. Right now, the deal is buying a strip center with some empty space. The only way you can make money in retail is to have an empty space. I mean, yeah, you go out and find. I've been seeing daycare centers at 8 caps from strong companies. You know, daycare centers are really good now. Anything that's a necessity. You know, hair, nails, food, daycare, things that internet can't fuck with. Strip centers with empty space are the best things you can do right now. You fix the place up, you get that space rented out, whether you use a leasing agent or not, or you just list it on CoStar, you make it look nice, you find somebody to fill that space. That's how you make instant equity in retail. All right, or you chop up a big space, make it into 2 small spaces. We've done that. You know, I mean, we've had some success in building small retail on lots. You know, because we had the tenant before we built it, so there was no fucking brainer, no risk, right?
All right.
We just rented the cookies. My son wanted to do it, and I did it. California marijuana dispensary, medical card, Florida, Dale Mabry, right next to where the Bucks play.
So I saw one actually, a dispensary that was for sale in Arizona.
Dispensaries are all over the place.
Yeah,
dispensaries. The market's
but-
flooded with dispensaries. I've seen it for 10 caps.
Same. That was
Michigan. Why? I don't know. I have to go to Michigan and have to find out why are they paying a 10 cap? How strong is the people that own the dispensary are, you know, and how they making money and get a feel for it. Those
Well, that's
are the
what I
ones that
saw.
really
Well, that's
worth
what I saw in
investigating.
Arizona.
You can do it, but
it was
you
at it was at a 10 cap, but it hadn't sold in months. And I'm looking,
There's
why
a
is not
reason
sold?
why. You got to know why. And typically, the broker can tell you. You can say, okay, why this place sold? You're offering 10 cap on the money. Banks won't loan on them. That's the
Right.
number one reason. No dispensaries go for less than, even the best ones never sell for less than a 7.5 cap, 8 cap. Used to be 7. Now none of them ever sell for less than 8.
So is
and
it
for 8, it better be a major company.
So if you're buying-
10 is a smaller guy.
So if you're buying at a 10, so a 10% return, and you have to buy it cash, is
Yeah,
that a
you gotta
good
buy cash.
Is that a good use of money?
Sure, as long as you know that that dispensary is not going nowhere, and the people that are growing and selling the weed, I got money and are making money, and you'll never have to worry about your rent. It's just like any other tenant. But in this case, you got to be double sure because you can't loan against that property. All your money has to be tied up in it. So there are some banks that will loan on it, to say the truth. But there's been some changes with federal charters, and some banks will loan, but they're going to charge you 10% probably. So what's the point?
Right. But if you have cash, do you think that would be
Yeah,
a
you
good
go out
opportunity?
tomorrow. You could for $1 million, you can go buy a dispensary and get $100,000 a year, just deposit it right into your account.
What's the biggest risk of that outside of the tenant just
A lot
not
of them
paying
can't
the rent?
take. A lot of them still can only take cash. That's the biggest problem dispensaries have. They're only allowed them to take cash, which is not good because it interferes with their business. But a lot of them got credit lines now. Banks have recognized it. I mean, the only thing is, it can only, to me, it's all about any other business. Supply and demand. Is there a demand for that dispensary? What are their numbers? But the problem is, dispensaries, a lot of times, competition can come in and fuck them over. If another dispensary comes in that neighborhood and they got better weed for a better price, they could get hurt. But I don't know. I don't know the business that well, but you got to do your homework for every business. You know, it's just
Yeah.
like an ice cream place. You're not going to run an ice cream store to an ice cream guy if there's one right next door.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But, you know, you can get 10% on your money if you want to rent to buy medical marijuana triple nets.
Is there any other niche businesses that are pretty good returns aside from
I
dispensaries?
mean, it's safe is like I said, necessity properties are safe. Things that are making money, the necessities, people need them, hair, nails, food, daycare, the private schools. I like private
So
schools.
I'm seeing a lot of schools and daycares being sold in Vegas at a really good return. Like I'm talking like 7.5%. It's
all about the tenants.
But why are they selling at such a low price for a necessity?
7%
like
is not a low
daycare?
price when you're paying 7% to borrow money. It's a shitty price. You only
When
get
I'm seeing
20%
everything-
skin
when I'm
in the
seeing
game.
everything selling at a
if you only
6%
got
return and they're at a
20% skin in
7.
the game, right? You're only going to get a 7% return on 20% because in today's interest rates, all the fucking money goes to the bank. So it's not a good return. It sounds like it because we're used to them being lower. But 7 is not a good cap rate these days, and the bank's charging 7. It's a wash.
Yeah.
Does he wash at least?
Not really.
Maybe that's
So-
your problem with girls. You got to start washing more. He reminds me of my captain. They're like young, good-looking guys, but, you know, for some reason they don't, I don't know. I think it's because they're like, is he like a spoiled brat type? Self-centered? Is he self-centered?
No, he's not.
No, he's not. He's
Spoiled
worried about
brat.
himself, and I don't know.
I don't think so. I gave him the nice room when we were.
He did actually last night.
Yeah.
There's a room that connected to a bathroom.
And Graham and I already.
Yeah.
And I said Graham, right or left, and without looking, he said right, and he didn't want that room, even though we
Yeah.
already predetermined it. And then I said, and he's like, "Can I please have this room?" I'm like, "Of course you can," because previously he gave me the nice room, and I remembered that this
Yeah.
whole time because I was always
true.
grateful for that. And so
Isn't he the boss?
it's technically.
Is he not your fucking boss?
Technically, well, depends on.
Do you
pa-
have a job
on
without
paper,
him?
Without him? No, but he.
Do you have an
would-
existence without him? He's your fucking golden goose. And you got to
Tell
protect
him
the
all the
goose
time
to
I
lay
tell
the
him.
golden eggs.
Yes.
He's not protecting the goose very well.
Yeah. We protect
I
the
know
goose.
you got
You gotta
married.
protect the goose.
Did you get a prenup?
How much does a wife cost per year?
A wife cost? I mean, it depends. What about kids? Kids are $100,000 a year, easy. Private schools and all the bullshit they want. Forget about my kids. I mean, kids are $100,000 a year. Wives are probably going to piss away $100,000 a year. They got hair, they got nails, they got shopping, you're talking about groceries, you're talking about housekeepers. I mean, not counting mortgages, yeah. Your wife's going to be at least $100,000 a year minimum. That's a low-end wife. Mine's probably $200,000 a year. She got 2 fucking housekeepers.
Do you not even talk to her when she wants to spend money? Like she can just go and do it.
Luckily beyond the point. Luckily, my wife is she don't spend a lot of money. Like, she wouldn't buy nothing crazy, or if she really wanted something, then I'd try to talk her out of it, and I would. We were in Vegas. When we were in Vegas, she went into the fucking jewelry store, and she had these fucking people mouth-watering about getting ready to buy some fucking, what was she buying? You were with me. Some fucking bracelet or something for $10,000 or some shit. Yeah, I said, lady, you got a jewelry fucking safe full of shit that you don't even wear. Okay, and what do you want to watch for? You always want to watch. You don't even fucking look at the time on the watch. Use your phone. You only wear it for jewelry. She wears watches as jewelry.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
most people
a
wear.
fucking watch
Graham
don't
wears
even
it
have
as
the right time on it. She's got a Rolex and it don't even have the right time. It never had the right time.
I feel like most
She just
people wear
wears it.
watches for. No one looks at the time on their watch. I mean, occasionally during
Men
a
do, I think,
podcast,
but
I
not
will,
women.
but that's about
Everybody
it.
uses a fucking phone.
Everyone uses their phone.
Anyway.
So you seem pretty good at reading people. How do you know if someone's trying to screw you?
The point is, you gotta verify shit. You can't take anybody's word for anything. There's plenty of people that I thought were 100% honest, great people, would never screw me, and they screwed me. Verify every fucking thing. I mean, because, even if you feel like, oh, I didn't need to do it, well, you did it, now you know for sure that you're not getting fucked. What they're telling you is true. I try to verify everything I can.
And what about through evictions, like evicting
Evictions?
tenants? Is there any telltale signs for tenants that come in, even if you verify? You
I mean,
go through-
if you check the tenant out and you rent to them and they're good and they're paying, they're working, then, there shouldn't be no problem. I mean, things happen in people's lives. The problem is tenants' lives change and bad shit can happen, okay? It's like one day you can wake up and say, why is it I'm sitting back and letting this guy Jack screw me over so much? And you might say, you know what, Jack? Take a walk. Go find Jill. And, and then he's fucked. And then basically his life changed. And if he's paying your rent every month, he can't pay it.
What's the most expensive eviction you've ever been through?
Oh my God. They were all pretty much the same. What happened? The reason why I got out of California was every time I had to do an eviction, even on criminals with police reports that owed me money, the fucking courts were so liberal in California. They all run the legal aid, whatever they called it, and then those fucking people, they all went to school at Berkeley, and then they go work in San Francisco and want to save all the people that don't give a fuck about nobody but themselves. Okay, those are the people they want to save. Listen, if a poor person needs help and they're a decent person and they need help, I'm all for it. But they want to go beyond that. They want to save the fucking poor people that are fuck-ups and criminals, and that's what they did to me in California. Okay?
What happened?
Every fucking time I want to evict somebody, right away, we request a jury trial. You know what that means? It means I got to pay my lawyer $5 or $10,000 for a fucking tenant that owes me $1,000 and get him out of my place. So they use it as a scare tactic. Nobody goes to jury trial, but that's a way of sticking your landlord in the corner and making him settle. Well, give him 3 months free, pay him $2,000 for moving, go take him out to dinner or who the fuck knows, and and it costs you thousands. I got out of California 20 years ago. Back then, every eviction was starting to cost between the lawyer's fees and the loss of rents and that money I may have to even pay them to get the fuck out, could be like at least 5 to 10 grand. Now it's probably, who knows, even more, 15, 20, I don't know. The politics there was so bad. The courts was just so one-sided. And the whole legal system was so one-sided, you'd have to be a fucking idiot to be a landlord in California where I was at. I had a class action lawsuit against me
Oh, what was that for?
because I was one of the biggest Section 8 landlords at the time in Oakland. Some raised a stink because on all Section 8 contracts, it says you should pay a deposit. It doesn't say you have to pay it, okay? Or there's a place for deposit on the unit, right? My trick to getting tenants, or one of my tactics in sales and marketing was, if you had Section 8, I'm a nice guy. I'm going to waive the deposit. And I'm not going to collect it. Because these people were poor. They didn't have the money to move into an apartment and move and turn on the electric and turn on this and that and still give you a big fat deposit. These people are welfare. People on Social Security, especially old people. Honestly, if you had a voucher and I knew my rent was guaranteed every month from Section 8, I wouldn't charge a deposit.
Yeah.
Then some crazy Berkeley, San Francisco group says they started asking everybody that was a tenant of mine that moved out of my properties. They do searches. They get a bug up their ass. There's a big rich landlord. He's just taking advantage of poor people. They went out and they asked the people, did he ever pay you back a deposit? No, I never did. Why? And they made me spend thousands of dollars defending myself just to tell them, listen, I never charged one. Why would I pay one back? Imagine that. That's how crazy.
How long
it
did
is.
it take to settle that?
Went over months. Because once you get in that fucking court, they think they got big money against you, and you're a big fat rich guy. They're gonna just say you didn't do this, you didn't do that. They're gonna make up all. You ever see a lawsuit? You ever been served with a lawsuit? The lawsuit says you're guilty. They're accusing you of all this shit. That doesn't mean it's true. You got to go to court and fight it out. You know, they're going to accuse you of everything under the wall without doing their homework. Because these lawyers, especially the liberal lawyers, are nuts. They just see, oh, we're going to stick it to them. We're going to collect. We're going to get damages. We're going to do all this. We're going to... Don't get me wrong. There's some lawsuits that are valid, you know, especially class actions, like with, you know, big companies that fuck up. But, you know, San Francisco and Oakland and Berkeley is a different place. You're from Southern California?
Yes, from LA.
It's different. It's not even as bad as Southern California.
It was bad. I had to serve a tenant with an eviction a few years ago. Originally, this person was going to buy the house that I was renting to them, ended up not buying it. And then I gave a 60-day notice to leave because they weren't buying the house and wanted to sell the house. After the 60 days, they didn't leave, and they continued paying rent. And so I gave the notice to, basically the notice to vacate. And in that notice, you know, gave all the forms, everything. And
You did it all yourself?
No, so I hired a property manager to go and do that for me. And she signed everything, sent it back to the property manager. We think we're good. But the next month, she pays rent again. And I think this is odd. So we actually have to go to the courts and file. And I sent the rent back. And it took about 2 months to go through the courts. The court rejected it because they say, in this, you did not include a COVID disclosure. And keep in mind, this is like somewhat recently. You didn't include a COVID disclosure. And because of that, your notice is not valid and you have to start the process over again. All because of that. Now, it turns out the tenant knew that. That's why she signed everything, sent it back to buy time.
She knew it, or she got legal representation to tell her that?
Yep.
She got it from a serious liberal. This is California we're talking about.
This is California.
She got it from a typical liberal California legal aid or whoever, chief lawyer that specializes in that shit. That's why I'm not knocking you, but your first mistake was not a property manager. You go to a legal lawyer. They don't charge that much just to process evictions to start with. You go to a lawyer that specializes in evictions. And he does the notice, he does all the filings, he does everything, and he's responsible for the case. Normally, they have places that guys that specialize in. That's all they do. They run a mill of evictions.
My issue was that I trusted her.
COVID's been over for fucking years.
I trusted her explicitly. Her and I were on amazing terms.
She might be a good manager, but she's not a
But
lawyer.
when it came to that, I didn't. I thought it would be completely amicable. I thought, handshakes. Like
the tenant?
the tenant.
Yeah.
We're on great
listen,
terms.
Listen,
and so it caught me
the
off
tenant's
guard.
thinking, well, I got to pack up and move. I got to find another place. It's going to cost more money. And it just, California is California. They're going to, they got these stupid things. Oh, you didn't have a COVID form. Fuck, COVID's been gone. And what the fuck's COVID got to do with me wanting my property back? Your person doesn't have COVID, so what's the problem? And if you get COVID these days, it ain't shit. It's a cold.
But before we get into that, this episode was filmed in Fort Lauderdale. We had to fly back to Vegas, and then after that, we flew all the way to Toronto to film for you guys, and now we're in Orlando, Florida. We are people with very busy schedules, and to be honest, finding time to cook a meal can be extremely challenging, and it's way too easy to just go out and order food, which is definitely not the most cost-effective or healthy option. But that is where our sponsor Factor comes in with their no prep and no mess meals. Factor meals are ready to eat in just 2 minutes with no mess or cooking involved. All you got to do is take one of these meals from the fridge, put it in the microwave, and 2 minutes later, it's ready to eat. And seriously, guys, they all taste insanely good. I absolutely love a Factor meal when I'm between working or lifting, and a favorite of mine is the roasted butter garlic salmon, which is full of protein and keto-friendly. They make meeting your nutrition goals easier than ever with their menu of chef-crafted meals that includes Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and vegetarian options. And all of Factor's meals are fresh, never frozen, dietitian approved, and made by their team of gourmet chefs that only use ingredients that you can trust. With 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you'll always have new flavors to explore. You can choose from premium ingredients such as filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon. And if you're looking for something to drink, Factor has got you covered with a wide range of beverages, including smoothies, shakes, and juices. Seriously, guys, Factor saves me a bunch of time and a bunch of money, and they are incredibly delicious. If you're curious to see what it tastes like, you can get 50% off your first box and 20% off the next month at factormeals.com/icedcoffee50. Also, don't forget to use code ICEDCOFFEE50 at checkout. Once again, it's 50% off your first box and 20% off the next box. They are seriously incredibly delicious. I highly recommend it. Factormeals.com/icedcoffee50, code ICEDCOFFEE50. Thank you so much, Factor, for sponsoring this episode, and back to the podcast. Men, we need to have a real discussion here because everyone is seriously at least a little scared of losing their hair.
So see how like at the corners, see how it's coming up a little bit right here?
Sure.
Coming up a little bit right here.
And whether that's a receding hairline, thinning at the crown, or just thinning in general, the fear is there.
And that's why you should try our sponsor, Hims Hair Loss Solutions, and join hundreds of thousands of subscribers who got their flow back. Hims offers a 100% online process that provides access to a range of hair loss treatments that work, all from the comfort of your couch, making treating hair loss simple with doctor-trusted treatment options and clinically proven ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil that could regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months.
And if swallowing pills is a challenge for you, no problem, because Hims also has a serum, spray, and chewable options.
The process is simple and 100% online. Just to answer a few questions, and a medical provider will determine if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your treatment is sent directly to your door.
So you can start for absolutely free with an online visit at hims.com/ICH.
That's HIMS.com/ICH for your personalized hair loss treatment options, or you could click the link down below in the description. Again, that is HIMS.com/ICH.
Results vary. Based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil, prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Thank you so much, Hims, for sponsoring this episode, and back to the podcast.
Have you had to deal with any squatters on your properties?
Squatters, you shouldn't have to deal with them if you're managing your property. They're like roaches. They come in like a bug, and you got to fucking exterminate them. But yeah, I mean, you got to monitor your property. You got to not ever let them get in, and as soon as they get in, you got to get them out.
How would you solve the squatter issue?
Vacant property has to be monitored with some sort of device or ring or motion detector or something. Come on, management. That's management. It should never happen, And if it does happen, of course, you're going to try with the police first. I saw something online. It was funny. A guy had squatters in his house. He wrote a lease up
Squatter hunter.
to somebody else.
So he squatted the
And
squatters.
this person said, I rented this place, and these people broke into it, and they're here. And here's my lease. The tenant has more rights than the owner. Figure that out. So the lady he gave a lease to said, I just rented this place. Cops threw those fucking people out because that tenant had rights. This is where she's renting to live, and you don't belong here. And she's got a legal document saying she's got rights to rent it, but the owner doesn't take up residency there. So believe it or not, crazy thing, the tenant's got more rights.
So you should see the podcast that we did with this guy called the Squatter Hunter. So he does exactly that, where the landlord, if they have a squatter, they give this guy a lease agreement, and he could move in with the squatter. And because the squatter doesn't want to live with this guy who will have his buddies over, and he installs cameras all throughout the property except for the bedroom. And he says, we're going to be live streaming everything that you do over here. Not the bedrooms or the bathroom, but everything else is going to be public, or you could leave right now.
Why not the bedrooms?
It's
The
a
bedrooms
privacy
is property.
issue. It's a privacy issue. In
They
the
don't belong
bedrooms.
there. Have signs up. You're on video. You're on video.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great, brilliant idea, and it's great material for YouTube.
Yeah, and he could charge 15, 20
I'd
grand
like
to
to
go
have
and get
video
his.
of what goes on with him and his 5 fucking roommates.
I'd love to see that too.
Probably a bunch of nerds, right? They nerds.
They're pretty
They
nerdy.
don't party hard like Animal House, do they?
No.
Yeah, at least if they did that, it'd be fun.
I want to know what the difference is between being a landlord in Florida versus California. Like, what are the main?
Totally different.
What are the main
Florida,
differences?
you got rights as a landlord. You're the property owner. You're paying the taxes. You're the one that owns it. Ownership means a lot here, all right? Where ownership doesn't have the same respect and entitlements in California. Here, listen, it's real simple. Whoever owns it runs it. And as long as they're not breaking a law, you don't belong there. If you don't pay them rent, you got to go. They don't even contest the evictions here very rarely. I don't think, in all the years I've been here, 20 years in Florida, I don't recall any evictions being contested. They just process the paperwork, and then the sheriff will eventually come out in less than a month and tell them they got to go, and they go. Normally, it doesn't even get down to that. The people leave before the sheriff comes. I mean, it's more landlord friendly and normal. Pay or stay. No pay, no stay. Chinese way.
What do you think of the anti-landlord movement that seems to be going on now?
Nonsense. All these movements are nonsense. Everybody just needs the basic common sense movements. We have a movement against landlords. Well, fuck, if there were no landlords, where the fuck would you live? If guys didn't build shit for you to lay your head in and sleep and live, where the fuck would you be? That's why they call them lord. They would put landlord, a property owner, on the highest level of society when society first started. That's why they use Lord, God. You provide a fucking place for people to live and exist and raise your family. I'm not saying I'm a god, but that's the level that the history put people on, because you were important. I mean, what do you do? Sleep in the fucking street?
The argument against that is that landlords drive up the cost of housing, and then other people would be able
It's
to
a
profit.
market. Everything's a market. Supply and demand.
Well, they say
When
that
there's not enough
housing
supply,
housing should be a
right?
right and
What?
not housing should be a right and not for profits. is
Listen,
the-
housing is a right in a communist country. The government provides housing for everybody. You may not like that fucking housing, but who the fuck wants to be controlled? Listen, we're a capitalistic society. Listen, if you're poor, you got to sleep somewhere cheap. All right? If you're homeless, you got to sleep on the street. If you got money, you can sleep in a better place. I mean, I don't know. It's just common sense to me.
You know what's interesting? So
Now,
I did a lease.
subsidizing is very important to me. Helping the poor is my career was based on that. I'll be honest, Section 8. Helping the poor is a great way to spend tax money.
So what's interesting is that it's been a few years since I've drafted up a lease agreement as a landlord in California. I did one recently. They got rid of the term landlord in California.
You got what?
They got rid of the word landlord. Landlord's not a term anymore in California.
Property owner,
Housing provider.
housing provider. You're a housing provider.
It sounds a little nicer though than landlord. I mean, let's
I
just
don't
like they
know.
got
Just
rid of
go
the.
on.
Why?
Google
Someone probably just
direction.
got so proud of themselves because they got to switch out
No.
one word in a leasing document.
Listen.
It's
I mean, they did
The
that
world's
with.
crazy in California. That's all I can tell you. If you go anywhere else, people typically use common sense and logic. But with these cuckoos now running shit and all the poor people running shit, why are poor people running shit? They don't know how to do shit, or else they would have made money. Why are they in charge of my life? Makes no sense. The whole democratic thing, it doesn't make sense to me. A lot of them, I don't get it.
so you've mentioned before that you've met Trump.
I met Trump.
When
yeah.
did you meet Trump?
I met him at pretty much like a small fundraiser in my neighborhood. He came and did a comedy show on stage. It was very entertaining. And, he raising money, and that was before he lost. Listen, we know what Trump's problem is, okay? He's a New Yorker. And he's not perfect, and he's got issues. And he grew up as a playboy and came from a rich family, and he did big-time shit. But he's a fucking deal maker. Did he make all the best deals? Probably not. Nobody does. I've made bad deals, too. But he's a deal maker, and he's got balls. And we might be able to get 4 years left out of him because he's already 77 years old. And the other guy's a walk-in corpse, I'm sorry to say, nothing personal. I mean, but Trump will get respect. Okay, because he will bullshit and bluff as much as fucking Putin, and as much as Kim Jong, and as much as the other guy in China or Korea, ping pong, and the fucking the Middle Easterns. Come on, the Middle Easterns. You didn't hear shit out of nobody. The world was quiet when he was president. Why? Because we need a cuckoo to deal with cuckoos, and he'll play their bluff, and he'll stand up to them, and we won't look like weak idiots. I mean, we destroyed Afghanistan. That was disgusting. We just packed up and left. All our shit there, we just packed up and left. Why? We left there with our tail between our legs, or we gave it to the fucking Talibans. I thought the Taliban were the fucking terrorists. Okay? Weren't they behind the World Trade Center shit? Come on. I mean, they're all nuts. We turned it over to them. Now women are pets. Women can't leave their house. When we were there, women were working, women were going to school, women could be in society. A woman cannot leave their fucking house in Afghanistan right now under their religious law without a man being there with the man, their man. They can't go to school, they can't go to work, they can't do shit. That's the way these people are living, like it's thousands of years ago when women are like just your slave. It's sickening, it's disgusting. And Trump had all that shit quiet, under control, and making improvements to the world, and interest rates were low. And we weren't perfect. We'll never be perfect, but I think we're better off then. We are now.
What do you think about the
Ukraine
fraud?
war.
What do you
Putin
think
with
about
the
the
fucking
fraud case
fraud
with him
case?
overestimating the value of his assets?
It's just, if you're involved with the bureaucrats, they have unlimited resources. And the problem with Democrats is they're personal. A Republican don't give a fuck. It's business. Typically business guys, people in business, it's business. They take it personal. Their politics is personal politics. And they have unlimited resources and all their cool gang to fucking hang with them to go after. All right, this guy, we're against this guy. Everybody's against him. So they're gonna fuck with him. It's totally ridiculous what they're saying. He valued his property at less than what the tax assessor's office is saying. I mean, for tax purposes, everybody fucking wants the cheapest property tax. It's really bullshit. Don't mix his business with his politics. If you go to every fucking house in this country, it's gonna be valued at less than what they could sell it for. Everybody. It's a fact. We all know that. It's the way it is.
Yeah. Well, I think their
They
argument was that he was.
purposely value them less, even in their formula.
But their argument was that he overvalued his properties.
Between him and the banks. The fucking government's not loaning them money, so what do they give a fuck?
That's true.
The bank did appraisals. The bank has a risk tolerance. The bank is in business. It's strictly, there's too much government involvement. The government should have no say between a person and the bank borrowing money. All right, yeah, they got regulations so nobody can take advantage of them, whatever, but now they're protecting the banks. They're protecting the banks by doing this, right?
Well, their argument, again, I'm not saying I agree with this, but their argument is that it gave him an unfair advantage over other people by him showing more assets than he actually had, getting more money, and that...
There is no other people. It's between you and the fucking bank. Whatever deal I cut with Bank of America or Merrill Lynch or whoever the fuck I'm borrowing money from is between me and them. They have a risk tolerance for me. If they want to loan me money at really cheap rates, why? Because they feel that's the deal they need to cut with me to get my business. It's a very personal thing. Just like his tax return is a personal thing. It's between him and the IRS. That's it. All these other fucking politicians should mind their own fucking business. It's none of their business. Worry about your own business, and if he ain't hurt nobody, don't worry about his business. He didn't really break any fucking laws, in my opinion. All he did was negotiate with the bank and made himself, look like he felt he looked, which is really some defense to that. They were trying to label Mar-a-Lago worth stupid little money. Come on, it's ridiculous. It's nonsense. It's personal politics. They hate the guy. And really, if he would have tried to tone it down a little and try to get along more with people, okay, he could have prevented a lot of it. He really could have. Sometimes you can learn to get along with people and still not be on the same side of them.
Do you know if it was ever confirmed true that he buried, I think it was like an ex-wife at a property to be able to call it a cemetery for the tax? Is that not true?
I never heard of any. I grew up in New York. I don't know any stories about cemeteries and burying people. I don't know how he built all that shit in New York. How the fuck can you can't get away with building all that shit in New York unless you can deal with the mafia. If he can deal with the mafia back then, especially with concrete and garbage and getting shit built, he knew how to make deals. He's a deal maker. and we need him. Is he perfect? No. Is he a womanizer? Maybe. I don't know. Is he a big shot, big ego guy? Yes. But that's what we need, because the rest of the world are nuts. You always feel like one thing. He cares about the country. He's proud to be American, and that's what we need. Somebody that's, our gunslinger to deal with Putin and Korea and China and the Middle East and all these wackos.
What policies do you think would help the United States in terms of taxes, the national debt?
Apply logic, whatever's logical. Okay, let's look at a logical situation. Okay, can a person afford to pay taxes on certain income levels? Make sure it's affordable, and the rich people should contribute their percentage that they should pay, just like everybody should pay the same to me.
You think a flat
tax really is the
I've
way to
always
go.
thought of a flat
because
tax.
this way
just
it's
a
fair.
flat,
You get off your ass and make more money, that's fine. You pay the same tax. If you make $1 million, you pay $250,000. If it's 25% flat tax. If the next guy makes $100,000 a year, you got to pay $25,000. Of course, you got your deductions and all that shit. So that guy really ain't to pay $25,000. I mean, I like a flat tax. You work, you pay a tax. That's it. We're all equal. But I don't know. It's good and bad to everything. I'm not an expert in that stuff, but I just think we need to apply logic, and we need to keep the fucking, not just think, we need to have relations with all these cuckoos in the world because they can fucking destroy the world. And then, plus, it bothers me to watch destruction on TV. War makes no sense. It's inhuman. It's illogical. Destroying buildings, destroying families, hurting people, unnecessary dying. For what? It's a fucking money problem. Throw money at it. Throw money at the problem. Why do we have to, we're still so violent. I mean, it's crazy. And if we don't have somebody that can keep these motherfuckers in check from fighting in wars and all that shit, then we're in trouble, and Biden can't do it. That's clear. The point with Trump is this. I'm not a big trumpeter. New word, trumpeter.
Yeah.
It's just that I've seen what he's done. I've experienced it. I base my logic on logic. He was president for 4 years. The world was quiet. I was making money, and I think we were moving in the right direction. We were in a lot better shape. I base it on history and facts. So why wouldn't it be different? Why wouldn't he just do the same job again?
Yeah. So for the economy right now, would you say it's today good or bad for the economy?
A fucking guy can't take his kid to McDonald's and spend less than $15 a person on a meal. It's ridiculous. Things should not be so expensive. I don't know how people can afford life these days.
We got McDonald's the other night. It was $13 for how many McNuggets, John?
I
40?
applied a discount. So
maybe that was it.
Yeah, we had a slight discount for 40 McNuggets and one Big Mac or something like that.
Something
It
like
was
that.
like no, sorry, I think it was more. It was like $20.
All right, but that was a special they were running.
It was a special.
It was a
Okay,
special.
40
It was a
if you
deal.
walk
McNuggets, yeah.
in, and just buy a fucking Big Mac meal, it's going to cost you $15.
Oh, it's so expensive now.
ridiculous. It's with tax and everything. It's crazy. All right, it costs too much. My wife goes buy a dozen eggs. Used to be $1, 10 cents an egg. Now it went to $2. Fine, I could see 20 cents an egg. She told me she paid like $8 fucking for a dozen of eggs. It's crazy. You go to fucking breakfast now. Breakfast costs $15, $20. Lunch costs $20, 25. Dinner costs $50.
So who's doing well right now? Because the stock market is near all-time highs.
I'm
People
not
have
doing well 'cause
savings.
the interest rate's
Savings.
too high.
Yeah.
I'm not doing well because it costs a fortune to spend on everything. I don't know who's doing well. And then, I don't know, they're paying more for transportation. Labor has gone through the roof because things are so expensive. Labor has to go up. It's just, we're not in a good place. It's no way, all I can tell you, it's not like it was when he was president. When he was president, everything was fine. Or better.
Do you think Biden could pass a cognitive
And he
test?
went through COVID, which nobody ever went through.
Do you think he could pass a cognitive test?
What test?
A cognitive, like a mental
Conjugative test.
a smart test.
Who?
Biden.
No, he can't even talk on TV. He's gibbering. He called him Vice President Trump today.
Or President
you see
Putin,
that?
I thought
You
was
didn't,
fine.
you didn't hear him say
That was yesterday,
That's
I
why
think,
we
yeah.
have her as
Yeah.
Vice President Trump.
Yeah.
He's all over. Listen, it's not his fault.
It's the teleprompter's
He's
fault.
fucking
No.
He's 81.
He's 3 years older, I believe, than Trump.
I think he's 4.
Anyway, he's
years?
old.
81.
Come on, that's too old. You're supposed to be a senior at 55 and over, or 62. But we got 80-year-old fucking presidents running the fucking country. Are you kidding me? There's no logic in that.
Should there be an age limit for a presidency?
Absolutely.
What do you think that should be? 75?
Same as Social Security, probably 65, maybe. 65 is when you start collecting your full Social Security benefits. 65 should be it. You get in the 70s, come on. 70, every 70-year-old guy I know is a pain in the ass. All right, and they barely can, all right, maybe 70. How about 69? His favorite number.
I like 69.
I think about like the most effective CEOs and what age are they, and that's probably what the
50s
age,
and 60s
yeah, should be
usually.
of the president.
You're in your prime when you're in your 50s, as far as being in charge. All right, when you're at 50s, you're pretty much you know a lot because you learned a lot, and now and you're older and you got the confidence of what you know, and and you have experience and you've had history. So 50 is a good age to be in your prime. 50s.
I would like to see Jamie Dimon for president.
Who?
Jamie Dimon.
Jamie Dimon.
CEO of Dimon.
I remember.
Yeah.
He's CEO of what?
JP Morgan.
He's not that
Or-
stupid. Only
Yeah.
crazy people want to be president, or people that never did shit. And Trump is doing it for his ego, and Jamie Dimon likes his private, free life. You have no life when you become the president. No. You have no life. The whole world's looking at you. All right, everything you do, everything you say, everywhere you go, you're documented, you're recorded, you're never alone. Who the fuck wants a life like that? The rest of the time he got on this earth, but Trump, we're lucky. Trump loves having his ass kissed. And as president, he's got 24-hour, tons of people kissing his ass. He likes that. So we're lucky.
Yeah.
You never see Biden that much at all. Trump wants you to see him. He's ready to go, go, go. He got shot in the fucking ear. Fuck that. We're going to Minnesota tomorrow. Or wherever the fuck we're going.
Would there be any downside to lowering rates that you could see?
Lowering interest rates is something that I think 5 it makes sense. It was at 3. We're living large. 7 hurts. Let's find the middle place of 5. I think 5 is a really good place. It puts everybody in the right position. Why? Because for every $100,000 the average guy borrows for a house, it's going to cost him $5,000 a year, $400 a month in interest. So if he buys a house for if he borrows as little as $300,000, he's only got $1,200 a month to pay to own that house in interest.
Yep.
Now it's they're paying 7 plus the tax insurance, so they're really almost. But really, right now, it seems like to play it safe. If you want to buy a house and it costs you for every $100,000 you borrow on that house, you better plan on to play it safe in Florida, $1,000 a month, maybe a little less, but play it safe, $1,000 a month. Every $100,000 is $1,000 a month with taxes, with insurance, with the some maintenance, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Is there any warning that you have for people or something that you've noticed that no one's listening to?
The warning is, I see the warning signals right now that the properties have too much debt that they don't qualify for. And sooner or later, hopefully sooner, the shit's going to hit the fan. We're going to see a turn in the cycle, and we're going to see opportunity. That's why you need to stash your cash right now. Instead of buying houses that barely have any cash flow, stash as much cash as you can. Because when the real deal comes, you want that money ready to go. And you may need cash to buy it quick.
Yeah.
Auctions, foreclosures, things like that.
What's the biggest investing mistake that you've made?
When rates were really good and low, I didn't fix my rate. I was greedy. I could have fixed probably around 3.5, hundreds of millions of dollars.
And why didn't you? You just feel like you just got too
I didn't
greedy?
see it happening in my whole life. I never seen rates go up so quick, so high. You might have seen them slowly go up, and you say, maybe I should fix. And then you'll hurry up and fix, and you'll be safe. But they went up like this, and then once you're on a roll, the bank stopped, and they don't want to, there was a little window I had where I did fix a bunch of shit at 5.3. I think I fixed about 100 million, but I'm still sitting on probably 150 million at 7 or 6, 8.
Yeah. When did you start spending more money?
You know when you can comfortably spend. If my wife wants a fucking new car and it costs $100,000, I'll do that. Stuff like that. I started spending money when I made more. As long as I had enough for my investments, when it didn't hurt me.
Yeah.
I knew that if I went out and bought her something for $5,000, it wasn't going to make it break my picture. So you start off, small. You got a few $100,000 in the bank, you said? Mm-hmm. Still driving a Tesla?
Yeah,
How's that working?
it's great. I bought it September of last year. Love it.
I test drove the truck the other day
Cybertruck.
with Aaron. It was different, but I just felt like I was in a. There's no character inside. Everything is blank. No meters.
like that.
No measurements. No nothing. Everything's one big screen. We are now in the future. I felt like I was on Star Trek.
I
You know what
like
Star
that,
Trek
though.
is?
Yeah, I
TV
remember
show.
that, yeah.
But I was impressed with the bed.
Yeah.
In the back, when you press a button and the whole electric bed comes open,
Uh-huh.
you might be able to fit a piece of sheetrock in there, if you can. And that's or a piece of plywood, 4x8. That was great. And then the front was cool, the trunk. It was cool, but it still looked kind of weird. It looked a little too spacey, with the shapes like
Yeah,
this.
prices are coming down a lot.
Well, they had some issues
A
with
lot,
them. And
a lot.
Yeah, I think the guy wanted to take me for like 100 and.
No. The highest bid recently at auction was $89,000 for one.
Still, they trade for
Yeah.
100. Still depends on where and when. And
Auction
auctions, maybe.
websites. No, just like Cars and Bids or
Cars
Bring a
and Bids,
Trailer.
I know Cars and Bids.
Yeah,
but they
Doug
want-
DeMuro's
I've seen
place.
one go for more than that.
No, not
Oh,
anymore.
No.
Every week they're coming down by 5 to 10 grand. Every single week. Because more and more are being listed for sale.
The sticker on them is only like 60, 80, right?
No, 90. 99. Actually,
Yeah, I mean,
99.
supply and demand. Everybody
Yeah.
jumped on them. Some guys flipped them and made a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Like they did with the Hummer. A friend of mine made 100 grand on a fucking Hummer. Imagine that. Just about never.
Crazy.
I think he took delivery. He bought it. Maybe he took delivery and flipped it. I don't know. Anyway, it's all supply and demand. Everybody, there's always that guy that wants it, the first one to have it.
Yeah.
So they'll pay.
What one investment made the biggest impact on your portfolio positively? Like the number one investment you made?
I mean, I've had a lot of deals where I've made, good money on. I bought stuff I've doubled my money in some cases, which was really good. You buy something for 10 million, sell for 20, pretty damn good.
How'd you do that?
Huh?
How did you do that?
Like, walk us through a
that
specific
deal.
Value add. Mostly you see it a lot in apartment buildings and hotels. You'll see it in retail too if you buy empty retail. But typically, if you got a plan, it's going to work. If you come in and raise the rents by putting some new appliances in and competing with your neighbor, how much you're going to have to invest, how much the return's going to be, what your upside is, what the value is going to be versus from the upside. I mean, you can do it, but you can have. It's like a baseball game in my life. Sometimes I'll have base hits, where I'll make a little. Maybe $250,000 on something, a small deal. I might have big hits for $500,000. I don't know. You might have major home runs for $10 million. I don't know. Could have a triple play. You never know that. I mean, it's just you figure out, what you can make on a property and you do it, and then you leave alone the ones that don't fuck with the ones that don't have any upside.
What's the cheapest thing that you've done?
We went to fill up my wife's gas tank. She needs premium in that BMW the other day, right? Remember you were with me. We go to that Shell station over there. He advertised the cheap unleaded price, right? $3.39, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
How much was his super? $5.70 something. What are you, fucking crazy? But he has a car wash that I love that costs $9. So I went to the car wash for the $9 wash. It's really cool. It's lights and all this great shit. It does a good job. And then I go somewhere else and buy my fucking gas at Cumberland for something. That's how cheap I am.
For me, it's always the happy hour prices. So if you
Happy
could go
hour?
right before happy hour ends.
I get fucked at happy hours a lot.
Oh.
Well, I don't drink. My wife does.
Oh, no, I'm talking drinks. Like, I'm talking
Oh,
food happy
happy
hours.
hour.
Yeah, happy hours
Happy
for
hours
foods.
at bars.
Like appetizers are usually on happy
Oh,
hour.
yeah.
but
Or
I don't
you
eat
got
that.
the happy
I'm
hour
not
menu
an early
where it's
bird
like-
eater. Early bird special's been around forever. Happy hours, all that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
But I try to save money, but some people don't let me.
Why do you like making money?
I mean, it's a product. It's your reward for your hard work. You work, you get rewarded. You make money. I mean, listen, that's my third boat. It's not going to be my last boat. Okay, yes, I've experienced all levels. This boat is really great. Do I want one that's worth about double? Yes. Why not? I want it nicer. I had it. I experienced it. Now I want to move up. I need to sell that one for $3 million, and I need to move into the $6 million boat. That's life, Everybody has their own preference.
Is there ever a point to being content with what
I mean,
you
you
have?
bought that Ford GT, but you don't even drive it.
It's a good investment.
It was a good investment. How much you pay for it?
I paid $306,000 for
I
it.
could have bought it for $100 and something in the showroom back in the day when it came out. I didn't do it. You paid $300 and something?
Yeah.
be careful. Cars are coming down, boats coming down, planes
Ford
coming
GT
down.
is going up. It's one of
How
the
much right
very
now?
few cars.
You put it on Cars and Bids, what's it going to get?
Worst case,
Look it up. Look up Cars and Bids. Look up in Google the last time a Ford GT sold. How much was
Look
it?
at Bring a Trailer, not Cars and Bids.
Bring a trailer.
Bring a
Get my
trailer.
Ford GT.
400 grand is
Not much. I don't know. I think those days may have gone.
No.
It's a cycle, baby.
Ford GTs for whatever reason last 30 days have spiked up in price. The last one sold for 440,000
How long ago?
a few weeks ago. I see them all.
How
I look
much
at cars.
about
all
One
the
just
time.
sold for 350.
Thank you.
No, I'm
ding,
kidding,
ding,
I'm
ding,
kidding,
ding.
I'm kidding.
Market's coming down.
I'm kidding.
Sell
I'm
the
kidding.
GT. Get your money
look,
back.
I'm 440.
kidding.
I'm
It sold
right on
for
the money.
440.
440
But
wins.
this is 1,500 miles. Yours has more than
That's the
1,500.
bid. That didn't even sell. That's the bid right now with 1 day left. This one's 7,000 miles. Less desirable color is already at $400,000 with 4 days to go. This one sold less desirable color, $396. This one sold modified, $400. This one sold less desirable color, less miles, $441.
This one,
This is
same color, less miles,
$426. My car's worth about $390. Worst case,
And you sign it, you might be worth
$420.
more money.
What's up?
You sign it.
I could sign it.
You never know. You might have a viewer that really likes you. Said, "Here, I'll buy it."
I don't think of anyone spending $400,000 on a car would not care that I owned it or signed it. If anything, I think I would devalue the
I
car
had
if I
Batman
signed
and
that
Robin
car.
sign my Batmobile. It made it worth more money.
Who signed it?
Batman and Robin.
Yeah, but that's Batman and Robin.
You guys are like Batman and Robin, but you're the one in charge that's shaped like Robin, and you're the bigger Batman, and you're not in charge.
Jack
So
would
it's like
not
you're
be
reverse.
Yeah.
You guys
I'd
are like
probably be
reverse.
Batman,
You guys are
honestly.
reverse Batman and Robin.
It could be.
That's the nicest thing
But,
you've said to me.
yeah. That is actually.
And he just married Catwoman.
We'd like to know, in hindsight, if you look back on your life, if you could go back in time and change one thing, what would it be?
Do more.
Do more in what capacity?
I had the ability to do more.
Deals?
Yes, my son sticks it to me every time we drive down the street. We should have bought that one. We should have bought that one. We should have bought that one. I had the potential of doing more, and I didn't do it. I could have bought a lot more multifamily at the right price, and I would have made a lot more money. And then I could have held my properties. I rush a little too much. I sell my properties off a little too soon and don't capture all the value I could have if I would have been patient and waited a little longer. But nobody's got a crystal ball. It could have went the other way too. So I did sell them. I did make a profit. I did reinvest in more stuff that's going to make me a profit. But sometimes I should have been a little more patient, and I should have done more. In my own neighborhood, I can't drive down the street. And I mean, I had people begging me to buy these properties at auction at one time on the phone, and I told them I can't pay that much. And I would have made a fortune. So I didn't do enough.
How much money would you pay to go back 20 years?
Knowing what I know,
Yes.
well, I mean, everything. Listen, if you turn the clock back 20 years and I had 20 million, I'd be a billionaire today.
So 130 or
10
230 million.
If
We're
I had
not turning
10
the-
million, if I knew it was going to happen,
No,
no,
Ben.
today.
Today. You would be
Yes.
35 years old today.
And things aren't as great as the opportunity's not there like it was when I was in my 30s. So I would probably still need to have $100 million minimum to do anything with, to grow.
So you'd pay 150 million about to be 35.
Yeah, sure. You have that power? You've been studying voodoo? What?
We're working on it.
All right, very good. Age reversal.
But now, when
That'll
you
be
say
the
you
big
need
money.
$100 million to do the sort of deals that you could have done, 20 years ago, do you think that's maybe discouraging to people who feel like they're 35 and they don't have $100 million, and then they
It
think,
doesn't
oh,
matter.
what's the point?
Everybody's
Yeah.
a different person. Whatever you got, put it on the table, get a plan, and do it. All right, I started from zero, nothing, below zero. I started borrowing money off of fucking credit cards when I finally got them, or hard money lenders, or you got to get on a roll. Once you get on a roll, at least try. You're not going to succeed unless you try, right?
Correct.
So you got no choice but to try, and hopefully you'll succeed like I did. And then it's all about, the stars being aligned, timing and interest rates and all this shit. Eventually there's going to be opportunity.
Yeah.
People die every day. There's always opportunity.
How much money would you pay to lose 200 pounds? Boom, you snap, 200 pounds gone.
I don't think I could lose 200, because if I lose 200, I'll be too small. I need to lose 100.
Okay, 100 pounds.
100 pounds?
Yeah.
100 grand.
That's
$1,000
it.
bucks a pound.
What? 100
Just
grand.
100 grand?
All
To
right,
Ben, that's
fine.
nothing. I mean, like how much?
100 pounds right now?
Right
Yes.
now.
$1 million bucks. 100, what's that? 10,000 a pound.
I just think about the mobility, being able to get up, move quicker, like
Gives a fuck.
be easier on your knees.
Who gives a fuck? Fuck it. It's life. It's life. You can't change. There's certain things in the world you can't change. You can't change it. Everybody gets old. Everybody dies. That's life. All right? You're here for somewhere between, if you're lucky, 70 to 100 years.
I just see you optimizing your finances and certain aspects of your life so much.
Listen, I don't need a lot of money to live. You don't see me living like a big shot. This is a piss-ass house for Fort Lauderdale. This house at best is worth a few million bucks. Houses out here can go for 50, 60 million if you want to put a big boat behind. And the boat is a $3 million boat. There's guys out here all day long with 30 million boats. Okay? I don't need all that. I'm happy where I am. I mean, like I said, if I had 100 million, I can live off 100 million. Problem is, I have so many kids to protect for the future. Now I'm at the stage of my life where I have to prepare for when I'm gone. I got to make sure my wife's got what she needs to be taken care of because she's 20 years younger than me. I don't know how many fucking kids I'm going to worry about now. 5, 6, I don't know. Adopted some nieces that close to me. I got to worry about them now. Grandkids. That's what I got to plan. Everybody has a stage in your life. You haven't gotten to my stage yet. One day you're going to have kids, they're going to have kids, and you're going to have to say, okay, when I'm gone, at least the work and effort I put into this life that I had will now help them have a good life. So now I'm worried about trusts and wills and taxes and inheritance tax and things like that. And organizing my current business. That's where I'm at in my life. I'm almost 60, I'm 58. And I'm not in good shape, not bad shape. I mean, dying, nothing, but. So it's a stage in life. Where are you at in the stage of life, and what should you be doing at that stage in your life? You're 25 years old, you got 4 roommates, and what are you going to do now? What's your next move? Really, you should be just focused on what can you do to make more money and build your wealth and create your empire.
So what would you do if you were me though? Like 34, just married.
Everybody's different. We're all human. We're all different. You got to have a hunger in you to do what I do. You got to really just constantly, and it's hard to explain. It's you need the next deal. You need the next deal, because that's the only way you're going to grow. I mean, but you chose a path that's a little different. I think you should take what you enjoy and what you make money at and enjoy and take it to the fucking stars. Focus on what you're good at and what you can do and take it as far as you think you can take it. Because you already got it built. It's already something that's built. You're just adding and improving. But you should be looking for deals and trying to find something. I mean, if you can't find one, I don't know. Look at every aspect. Can you build anything? It costs too much to build these days.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. Except, I don't know. It's kind of working the numbers. It depends on location. It depends on demand. Depends on how much you can rent them for. I mean, if you can build, you can build probably... I think you can build for $150 a square foot, right?
Probably, give or take.
150 a square
But then it's
foot.
the work involved in that, and
The problem
2
is,
years of time.
to be able to make money, you got to have things on a multiple. You can't just build a house. You can't just build a duplex for rentals. You got to build like 10 units to have that multiplying number. So if you make $500 a unit, you make it $5,000 a month off 10 units. If you make it $500 off each unit, right?
Yeah.
It's the multiplier. It's like if I go out and buy a piece of property and I pay $100 a door, right? If I know if I do this, this, and this, it's worth $120 a door, which is not a big spread. That's 20 times 200 units is $4 million I made on one apartment building. Bigger the risk, bigger the reward, bigger the multiplier, bigger the payday.
What do you think your biggest insecurity is?
I don't know. Insecure. I'm just worried about that I'm going to fucking drop dead and I ain't going to have my shit together and my family's going to deal with a mess. That's my biggest thought right now. I don't feel good about, or I'm trying to make the right moves and find the right people and set up the right stuff. And I want to be able to sit back, get a point in my life where I got enough money every month coming in off of tax-free beauty bonds. I can pay my lifestyle. My kids can have my portfolio. We're not getting hit with a lot of tax, and I can just fucking try to enjoy the rest of the years. You work all these good years. When your physical is the problem, you don't get to enjoy them having money. You get to have money when you're older. but are you physically able to enjoy the money? That's the problem.
What would you do to
That's why I got
enjoy?
the boat.
What would you do to enjoy yourself? Like, let's
I mean,
just say
I
you're
like
there.
to do stuff. I like.
Yeah.
We just got back on that boat. We hopped around half a dozen different islands. Got in the fucking little boat. We did some scuba diving. Not scuba, but
Yeah, it's the same, but yeah.
snorkeling. You know, you go traveling and beautiful places. I like the water. I mean, you know, these things bring me pleasure. If I'm sitting on that boat out in the middle of the water, away from all land, I'm at peace for some reason, because I'm always dealing with land. You know,
Where would you go? Where's been your favorite
You're out in
place?
the water. It's like being
Anywhere in the water.
I go everywhere. Go Bahamas. We can go all over in this country. There's places to go. You know,
Where's been your favorite spot?
to travel or go
Yeah,
by
to
boat?
travel.
Hawaii was pretty nice. It's the only place I feel like I could stay a while. But I mean, I travel. I like everywhere. But what I do is I go everywhere for a few days, so I experience it and I get the fuck out and check out the new place. You never get bored that way.
Yeah.
I don't like going back to the same place every year or all the time. Like, you know, idiots that get involved with timeshares and stupid shit. What are you gonna do? Vacation in the same fucking place the whole rest of your life? It's stupid.
One last question for you. I'm curious, how much does it cost to own that boat?
I'm done answering your questions. All right, if you like Graham Stephan, you really like Ben Mallah, check us out on YouTube and go to benmallah.com. Consult with Ben. Who do you know better in real estate to consult with? Somebody that knows what the hell they're talking about and you can trust. Adios, amigos.